Footbap Nation!
Let's ride.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fantasy Footbaps podcast. It's me, B Dizzle, bringing you some fantasy football content here with my co-host, Paul. Paul, say what up.
What up, fellas?
All right, we're coming down to the final stretch here, last couple weeks of the season. It's a close playoff race. We had some crazy matchups, some teams falling apart, some teams coming together at the right time. Some OGs, some newcomers. We got it all going down, don't we, Paul?
Yeah, shit's happening. That's for sure.
All right, Paul, do you want to get right into this?
Hell yeah.
All right. Let's start with a rivalry as old as time. Me, Dr. Suck versus Paul, historical ass. If anyone remembers last week, I said Paul was due for a good week. Paul had his best week. Paul had his best week of the season. I said you were going to have your best week of the season. His best game of the season was still only 97.5, and it didn't matter anyways because I put up 151. I had my best game of the season. Kyle texted me and was like, "Oh, it's kind of funny. You were saying on the episode this past week that you haven't had like a 150-point week like everyone else has at the top, and then you had one." And I was like, "Yeah, at the perfect time too." I'm gonna be honest, Paul. I was very confident I'd beat you. I was just confident that you'd have a good week, and I feel like I was right.
Yeah. I still have not hit 100 points. That was pretty much the goal, and we're still not there. So.
Wait a second, we got to check something real quick. A little detour. Last year, Austin and Nick were. First of all, Paul, you are 2-10 right now. I'm 7-5. I didn't give the records on that one. I sweep Paul on the season. Okay, there are a lot of levels to this right now. So first of all, I sweep Paul on the season. I texted you, Paul. What were you against me? You were 7-5 against, or you were 6-2 against me all time. I was 2-6 against Paul all time, and over these last 3 years, I've gone 5-1 against Paul, and now we're 7-7 against each other. So I think I've mentioned before that Paul dominates me every single year. Also, we don't have the first 2 seasons of Paul dominating me in there also. Otherwise, Paul probably would have an even better record. But Paul kept forgetting his ESPN account. We kept having to remake the league 3 times. But as it stands right now, we're tied 7-7. Did you ever think, when you were 6-2 against me all the time, did you ever think that there was any way I could ever tie you?
No, I thought I was going to keep it rolling, but here we are.
I thought at best, like, I'd have a sweep. That one year I was really good. I was like, all right, I sweep him. It's 4-6. Like, but it was like the next year was 1-1. And like, I figured you were going to sweep again. I was never going to do better than 1-1. Like that 2-0 felt fluky because it was just like the best team in Footbaps history. But I can't believe it. I tied it up 7-7. I think this means that, next season there should be some kind of role reversal. For anyone wondering, if anyone remembers, Steve won it all 2 years ago, and then last year was the worst team in the league technically at the end of the season. Now Austin and Nick's team were worse. They were both 2-win teams. They were both 2-12, but after the losers bracket and stuff, Steve finished last. Are we going to have back-to-back, because Paul won it last year? Paul, are we going to have a back-to-back winner goes to last the next season?
I think so, because Dewey's team is nice and Nick's team is like not bad. My team just can't score, so I really truly believe it.
So that's what I was going to check here. You said we know Paul hasn't scored 100 this season. We're going to check and see. Nick and Austin both won 2 games last year, same as Paul's at now. So Paul's about to tie what we thought wasn't. We didn't think 2-12 was possible. Because no team had ever won less than 3 games, and that 3-win season I think only happened once. Everyone else was like 4 wins and above in our entire history. We had 2 2-win teams last year, historical ass, and then we had Paul come in. He's looking like he's going to be another 2-win team. In back-to-back years, we have like the worst teams, the 3 worst teams in Footbaps history. But I want to see, even with how bad. Yeah, this is crazy. Even with how bad Austin's team was last year, I see that Austin scored
150.
in a second. Austin's team doesn't even look that bad. How many points did he score on the year? No, he was still low scoring, but you saw those scores,
Yeah.
right?
Multiple hundreds.
He was scoring over. Oh, because we had 2 flex this year. Shit.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is a little bit skewed. Who knows by how much? I would say 126. It wouldn't matter if we took a player out. He's scoring 100 anyways. So, and a 150 doesn't matter. Austin would have scored 100 anyways that week. So we're gonna say Austin definitely scored 100. Now let's see if Nick had a 100-point week. Yeah, he had a 124 and a 143. And what happened at the end of the year with Nick? Oh my God, Nick was like 1 and 11, and then to end the year, Nick ended scoring. He scored over oh my God! To end the season last year, Nick scored 143, 121, 122, 24, 147 to end the year. I'm also realizing for Steve to get last place, it took him beating Steve. Nick beat Steve 146 to 138 in the losers bracket. What? Okay. I'm way too curious now. I'm looking at Nick's team. How the fuck was he scoring so many points? So Leonard Fournette, Derrick Henry, Cam Akers. Yes, because what happened was Nick spent like a 4th or 3rd round pick on Cam Akers. He sucked all year, but he ended the year scoring 18, 12, 33, 14, 14. But still then, like, was Derrick Henry not doing something all year? Like, no, Derrick Henry was good all year. I am baffled at how Nick was able to score so to go from not scoring shit. Dude, Jerry Jeudy scored 30.
Yeah, you see that?
Jerry Jeudy last season. Whoa! When Jerry Jeudy wasn't on Paul's team, he ended the year 29, 11, 15, 7, 22. Is that why you picked him so high this year?
Yeah, and I thought the Broncos would be better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. That's wild. He had Evan Ingram on his bench get 34, which is crazy. Yeah, so Nick stepped it up. So yeah, Paul, you actually are the worst team in Footbaps history, I think. I think it's
just looking like I'm gonna explode these last few weeks. So
well,
beware.
Well, we haven't gotten to it yet, but I don't think you're exploding this week. Well, we'll get to that. But no, I beat Paul 151-97. The all-time series tied at 7-7. Never thought it would happen when I was down 2-6 against him, all time. But here we go, sweet Paul. I'm 7-5. Paul 2-10. My playoff hopes keep alive. Oh wow, a huge matchup here. So Nick, and this with Nick beats Chip 96-75. Chip's team, the wheels have come off for Chip. I think he's going to make the playoffs. I'm pretty confident saying he's going to make the playoffs. Chip started 5-0, and since he started 5-0, he's 1-6. Just wild stuff. Yeah, Paul's bold prediction after 5 weeks was that one of the 5-0 teams was going to fall apart. It looks like, I guess it's Chip, but the only problem is I think that Chip's going to make the playoffs, especially with Dave losing. Oh shit, that's a spoiler. Either way, Chip loses to Nick, a huge upset, a massive upset. Nick beating Chip. Chip he couldn't get it done. He got a Lamar classic 14-point game. Eckler looks washed. B-Rob, he's either going to get you 25 or 7, and he got him 7. Waddle actually had like his first good game. DK played San Fran. Nothing you can do about that. I don't know what happened with Kittle against Seattle. I was surprised that he played Joe Mixon over Nico Collins. I remember seeing that. Would that have made a difference? No. He would have lost by like 12 instead. But I was shocked at that because Jacksonville's defense is ass and Nico Collins is good, and Joe Mixon doesn't have a quarterback, so you would expect the offense to like not be as good. But man, at the beginning of the year, we were like, why Nick making that trade? T. Higgins for Najee Harris looked really bad, like potentially really bad. Nick won the trade. Like I think he objectively won the trade. Like don't get me wrong, Najee sucked those first 5 weeks, but since then 14, 8, 15, 17, 4, 16, like, and T. Higgins just hasn't been playing. Even when T. Higgins played, he got 0 like 5 times. So Nick's team's coming alive. Rashad White is legit. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, Jamar Chase, I don't know if he's going to catch he is probably going to be up and down with the quarterback situation, but Nick's team's solid. It's definitely it's a at least an average team. Like I'd say probably slightly above average. And Chip, that's a loss you don't want to take, 6-6. So now Chip is still in the playoff race. Now that I'm thinking about it, we'll see when we get to the playoff picture. But it is a little scary situation for Chip. You know, probably want to win one more game to be safe, but feel bad for Chip there, 5-0, and could be even worse. Could be even worse for Chip because he got 30 points from the Seahawks defense on Monday night against me to beat me by 1 point. Otherwise, Chip would be 5-7, and I would be 8-4, and I'd be locked into the playoffs. So fuck you, Chip, and I actually don't feel bad.
I'd like to make a prediction.
Yep, prediction, go.
Nick will end similar to that. Was that last year?
Mm-hmm.
He will end this. This is the beginning of his 4-1 ending. I will say it now.
I wonder if if I go to like to the history of our league, I want to check and see if he has a history of doing that. So we know he did it in 2022. Let's see, 2021. I think Nick's team wasn't. No, he was 4-10 this year. Let's take a look at the schedule here. See how Nick ended. Man, his team's been Mr. Mike for a while. All right. Whoa. Okay. Not the same. This year. This year, apparently, he ended scoring 69, 70, 96, 47, 40, and 86. But I agree. I think Nick and Dewey positioned themselves to win late in the season. It's just it didn't work out at the beginning of the season. Paul positioned himself to just not fucking win at all, to be honest. And he made horrible trades that saved Chip's season. Let's talk about that. We'll talk about that when we get to the matchups. Let's get to the next matchup. Gorman versus Austin was supposed to be a decent matchup, at least. You know, it was two teams. It was 8-3 versus 7-4. It ends up being a piss fest. Gorman wins 89-68. Austin's team looks rough right now, but he does get Jefferson back. You know, Warren had a bad game, so that's a little unlucky. Gorman got 0.7 from Thielen against Tennessee, which is wild. Does anything pop out to you here? It just looks like two teams that had a bad week, but Gorman had the less bad week.
How's ETN been doing lately? Is he calming down?
Well, 10.6 is fine. Yeah, I guess
the last few weeks, damn.
Yeah. Damn, man, that stretch where he was getting Austin 34, 22, 21, 24. That's crazy.
The same shit happened last year when I had him. He had like 4 games where he was great, and then he just went back to mid.
I'm gonna say right now, I think that it was almost the exact same week. So this year it was weeks 5 to 8 and then a bye. His was definitely around a bye last year. I'm gonna say his was sometime between 5 and 9 again, and there was a bye week in between there. Let's check this from last year. He was on your team, right?
Yeah.
Man, you won it all with that scrub. All right. So last year, ETN. Damn, It was later, way later. Also, yeah, that was no, it wasn't later. I was looking at it backwards because in current day it starts with 1 at the top. All right, so this is like the exact same thing. Week 5, he starts with a 13 to week 9, 26. I fucking knew it because I remember him having that stretch going crazy, and then he had a stretch of ass, and then you went into the playoffs, and everyone was like, Paul's team sucks, and then Travis Etienne did good again. Dude, fuck that shit. This fucking team is ass, dude.
What?
You won starting. You started Alan Lazard unironically.
Is that week 1 or is that in the playoffs? Oh god.
That's the playoffs. That's the fucking championship game.
17. I don't know if I fucked around with it. Oh wow.
This team is ass.
I had DJ Moore and Pittman too. This team was kind of nice.
DJ Moore. Do you remember how bad he was last year? Are you serious, you lucky fuck? Look at him again. Everyone on your team sucked until the playoffs. Dude, that's fucking wild. What the hell? That's wild.
That was when
Whoa,
DeMar Hamlin
Diggs
died.
sucked in the playoffs. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
was saved.
CD I think did good,
CD
right?
did
Oh
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
CD was your playoffs. Him and ETN. Yeah, that's
Mixon I
great.
think did all right. Maybe.
Ass for quarterback, mid. Well, let's say up and down for running back. Two elite wide receivers. Mark Andrews wasn't that great, right? Oh, Mark
Uh,
Andrews was pissing ass. He
yeah,
was the
he's
tight
bad.
end for doing this. Did you say he's good?
No, I said he's bad.
Oh yeah, he got you single digit points for like 10 straight weeks. That's wild. So mid at tight end, mid at both your flexes. I mean, Eagles defense probably carried you a little bit too, right? Yeah, they were good. Man, this fucking team, dude. What did you
That's a
score on the
W.
year, dude? That's pretty solid. Yeah, it's not like bad by any means. 48 roster moves. All right, let's fucking keep looking at this. Gorman's 8-4, Austin's 8-4. I think both of them are in the playoffs. Congrats to both of you guys. Next matchup, another long-time rivalry. Like I said, it was the week of rivalries. It was me versus Paul. Long time. We've been at the top of our division, competing for a while. Steve and Dave are always fighting for the 1-2 seed in their division every year. Steve beats Dave 121 to 114, and this was way closer than it should have been. Jalen Hurts had 5 points, like right before the fourth quarter. He ends with 35 points because of overtime. So Steve was actually in the driver's seat. Like it looked like he was going to win very easily, and then Hurts pulls off that heroic fourth quarter overtime performance for Dave, rushing for 2 touchdowns, throwing for 2 touchdowns, comeback win against the Bills. And at that point, Dave goes up 6 points going into Monday night. And I looked at Hawkinson. He hadn't scored less than 7.5 points in a game. Hawkinson had 0 at halftime. And then I want to say he even had like 3.
He had 3 points up until the touchdown at
Yep.
the end.
He had
like that final drive.
Exactly. Hawkinson has 3 points going into like the Minnesota's last drive, and then Hawkinson like caught a pass. I don't know if you saw, but he caught like a 15-yard pass, and I was like, "Is that enough?" No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Oh wow.
Yes. So after Hawkinson caught that pass, Steve was down. It was 113.8 to 113.72. And I was like, dude, Dave's gonna win this by fucking .08, which is wild, and that's gonna that's so massive. And then Hawkinson caught a touchdown like the next play. Steve wins it. He keeps rolling. Heroic like effort by Dave. Like, what more can you do?
Yeah. It's unfortunate Amari got hurt. I guess that evens out with the hurt shit.
Amari did get hurt. Yeah, you're right. Amari getting hurt and just whatever happened with the Browns there, regardless. Like, but man, it just goes to show 114 for Dave, and all he gets is 35 from Hurts, 21 from Jacobs, 21 from Tyreek, 14 from Kamara, and that's like the entire team. That's how some people. It's just looking at. Oh, okay. So Steve got 7 from Tua. That makes way more sense because I was gonna say, look at Steve's team. He's getting double digits from fucking everyone, but I didn't realize that Tua only had 7 points. Either way, Dave is gonna need to win his last 2 games. We'll lay this out later on. Dave's 5-7, Steve 9-3. Next matchup, another rivalry here. It is the Pooh Bags versus Kyle. No surprise here, even with Dewey on a 3-game win streak. You just knew Kyle was taking this one. 22 from Evans, 15 from CD, 32 from Dak. Like I said, Dak Prescott is like the greatest quarterback in NFL history now. Like I think like a crazy run over these last like 4 weeks. 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns.
Besides Philly.
Oh yeah.
Besides Philly, they played
It's going to keep happening too. Seahawks pass defense sucks. Philly's pass defense sucks. Bills pass defense sucks. Miami's pass defense sucks. Detroit's just fucking mid. Yeah, so the Cowboy
Kyle's winning it all.
Yeah, Dak and CD are going to keep it up. It's going to be up to, other players, Diggs and stuff. Big matchup. Kyle wins with relative ease. And ever since Chip traded Devontae, so Chip got Devontae, he got him 1.6, 5.4. Dewey trades for him, he gets him 12, 18, and 10. Sometimes you just need to change the scenery. And what a Bijan performance here. 26 from Bijan.
Yeah, big day.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Ooh, he's got players, dude. All of his quarterbacks popped off. Look at how crazy is this? You got like Lamar scoring 14, and I don't know, like all these really good quarterbacks doing like okay this week, and then you look and Jordan Love has 27, Stafford has 23. Like that's wild, man. Um, Ballsy move to play the Ravens against the Chargers there, and it works. Actually,
Yeah,
not a
that's crazy.
ballsy move. The Ravens apparently score double digits every single week. Looking at their game log. Um, but Dewey, man, I mean, good job winning 3 in a row, and I think he's going to win at least one more to end the season. Kyle's locked himself up into the playoffs at 8-4. Let's get to our last matchup from this past week. Oh my God, what a win for Mike! Mike needed this. Mike beats Ryan. This is the rival we were
Yeah, this is
waiting to
big.
get to. This is huge. Ryan drops to 7-5. Mike moves up to 6-6. Mike beats him 122 to 109. Mike gets a 35-point day from Kyron Williams, 21 from Mostert, 17 from Moore, 15 from the Niners defense. I mean, Ryan's team didn't even do like bad. The crazy thing to me was that he started the Eagles defense against Buffalo instead of picking up a defense. Like, who knows who he could have picked up? It might have been someone that got 7, and then he still would have lost by like 3. But I'm a little shocked he benched Gabe Davis. Are you shocked by that at all?
What was his previous game? Was it 0?
Oh, I mean it was probably 0, but yeah, it was 0. But it's Philly's defense. They're the worst, dude. Don't fucking laugh, dude. Don't you
funny.
have Diggs? Oh wait, Kyle has Diggs.
Huh?
No,
Yeah.
I was just looking for who had Diggs. Look at this. The Eagles defense is 32nd against wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like they get torched by him. So it
It's
wouldn't.
still just funny.
I don't think it would have mattered anyways. But the combination of him starting Gabe Davis mixed with not playing Philly against Buffalo, I think would have won it for Ryan. Ryan's in a scary spot now too with me at 7-5, where it's like it looks like things should work out, but Mike wins 2 straight. Dave wins 2 straight or something. Like, who knows how things can shape out. Like, either of us can, be pushed out of the playoffs. But, I think Ryan should be safe because I know he has more points than me. Mike made his named season is over after winning. Interesting. Um, does he know he won, Paul?
Yeah, he was texting me. I think his matchups this week or something this week is just not good.
Oh, okay. And we'll get to the matchups, but huge win for Mike, giant win for Mike, keeps the season alive. Like I said, even Dave at 5-7 is alive. Let's take a look at the standings real quick, and things are heating up now. It's playoff time, close to playoff season. So as it stands right now, first place in the East is Gorman at 8-4. Second place is Austin at 8-4. I think I have more points than both those fuckers. Yep. That's so fucking obnoxious. All right, I'm in third place at 7-5. Chip is in fourth at 6-6. And there's Nick at 3-9, fifth, and there is Paul at 2-10. Sole possession of last place overall in the league at 2-10. No one has below 3 wins, but Paul. Paul, how are you feeling about this season, and what are you going to do differently next year?
Well, I gotta trust my draft. I made too many trades. The one that really just set me up for failure was
Lamar
trading away Amon-Ra and then getting Lamar. All that was that the same
Yeah.
trade? I don't even know.
Yep, it was
But
Amon-Ra and Joe Burrow for Lamar and DK
yeah,
Metcalf. But then the
if
worst
I
part
didn't do
about it
that, I feel
was
like
you
it'd be
made
okay.
that trade, and then you traded DK. You basically you basically traded Amon-Ra for Jordan Addison, and you basically traded Joe Burrow for Alexander Madison. If you think about it, because you flipped.
Yeah.
No. You traded B-Rob. You had him all year, right?
Oh, who?
Brian Robinson.
B-Rob? Yeah, I drafted him.
Yeah. So regardless, you flipped Amon-Ra for Jordan Addison. That was fucking terrible. But
Yeah. But
no,
yeah,
I
oh, I was just gonna say I gotta trust my draft and just not trade when things aren't bad. Just roll with it. That's the plan for next year. Because I did like my draft. It's just injuries and unfortunate shit happened,
yeah.
and I panicked. So that's
Oh,
how
you
it
had
goes.
injuries? I don't even remember your
Well, J.K.
injury.
Dobbins was my starting running back.
Yeah,
And then he died.
it is kind of weird to think at the beginning of the year because I had that big week from Ayuk, and then it was like I thought my season was over because Amari had that Amari had like a quad injury in week 2. Ayuk was just out. He got injured in this week 2 and missed week 3. Who else? I mean, obviously Garrett Wilson lost Aaron Rodgers. It was like I was fucked. All my guys got hurt or their quarterbacks got hurt and stuff, and I was like, man, this shit sucks so bad. But the thing was, is I couldn't trade. Like you had Amon Ra and shit, right? Like so it was like you had people that you could trade that I value. I had to stick with my team because I wasn't gonna get anything from anyone in my league. I mean, Austin straight up said to me in week like 6 or something. Remember, he was like, "Bro, the problem with your team is Isaiah Pacheco," and I was like, "Is Isaiah Pacheco the number 12 running back? Like, is he just worth nothing? Like, to people like not like I would rather have Derrick Henry's shitty ass if I knew that I could trade him and scam people into thinking he was good just because he has name recognition. So I do agree with you, Paul. If you stuck with your team, it isn't even really sticking with your team as much as like, could you have traded someone other than Amon Ra to get Lamar? No, you said. Did you say?
Saquon.
Yeah, Saquon probably would have been a good one. But
Ridley after week 1, dude. If I
oh
traded someone
yeah,
for him.
yep. I feel real stupid because in my work league I was thinking the same thing. Now the difference is in my work league, it's a keeper league, and I picked up Calvin Ridley off the waivers for $0, so I got to keep him for $5 instead of drafting him for like 30. So in my mind, he had that great week 1, and I was gonna trade him for someone like that I knew was better in case it was like a fluke. But I was like, but if it's not a fluke, I could keep him for $10 next year. Like that'd be awesome. Yeah, huge mistake. Even though he's had some good weeks these last couple weeks. Me speaking of Calvin Ridley, me and Paul, or I did a little experiment where Ridley has 12 less points than Michael Pittman, but Calvin Ridley like has gotten you 3 points, 1.454, and Pittman like hasn't gotten you less than like 8 or in a game. He had a one with 4 points and 10 points in every single game, but 2. It's just wild that like without context, total stats can just like do that to you. Going to the West standings. So yeah, Paul 2-10. I don't think we're ever going to see a season this bad from you. The panic trading, it's just wild coming from you. You had built your entire fantasy persona on being too afraid to trade, right? You built your persona on being Ryan this year.
It works. When I don't trade, I do well. I mean, last year was my best trade ever. I got CeeDee Lamb for Olave and Justin Fields, and he was popping off, and that really helped. But like besides that, I don't think I made a good trade in my entire career.
The best trade I ever made was the first championship I ever won, which was Martellus Bennett and Michael Floyd for Dez Bryant. Like the year before, like before Dez Bryant had ever like done anything. Let me see. I want to go to his like ESPN profile. Baltimore wide receiver, is he like technically on them? All right, so well actually let me take a look at his stats and see what year he was like an all pro. All right, so it was his 2012 year. In 2012 he had started the year out, he had 85 yards, 17, 62, and at that point no touchdowns. And it was 3 weeks in, and Martellus Bennett was the tight end 3, and Michael Floyd was like the tight end or the wide receiver like 18 or something. So I traded both of them for Dez Bryant straight up, and look what he did for me in the championship. 224 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he scored a touchdown every week for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, dude, he was like he was the reason I won it all. I had him and Tony Romo. So Tony Romo scored 33 points that championship week, and Dez Bryant scored like 34 or something. It was fucking awesome, and that was the best trade I ever made. Every other trade outside of that has always been mid as fuck. I traded Mark Andrews for Tyler Lockett, and Tyler Lockett scored 46 points for me the first week I had him, and then he didn't score more than 6 points the whole rest of the fucking season. I'll never forget that. I thought I got a steal on that one. It was not a steal. It sucked. Yeah, trades are just a gamble. But yeah, I think I think you're right. You went away from your normal strategy. I look
Yeah.
in my work league last year. I went away from my normal strategy. Last year in my work league, I I tried doing a strategy of like getting like really good players and then just drafting a bunch of like mid asses, like guys that could do good or could not be good. Um, and it didn't work out because I had realized that a lot of the guys that had won it all were like they had three people in their flexes who were they got for like $1 and basically just got lucky. So I was like, maybe that's how you win in this league because I had gotten like third and fourth and third in 3 years straight. So I was like, that might be the strategy, and it didn't fucking work. So I went back to my strategy of drafting like one guy for a lot and then drafting a bunch of guys for like $10 to $15 and hoping it pans out, and it's been panning out in there. It's just don't doubt yourself, Paul.
Hmm. Yep.
Um,
Going back to my
and
ways.
yeah, and everyone out there, that's some motivation. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you think will work, and it'll work out. And if you do what you don't believe in, you're going to be 2-10, and you're going to be a historical ass. um, West. Steve, the only person to have the playoffs officially clinched, according to ESPN, which for anyone else wondering, Nick is also eliminated officially. Same with Paul, both eliminated. Steve has clinched the playoffs. He's first place in the West, 9-3. Kyle, second place in the West, 8-4. Ryan, third, 7-5. Mike, dude, because the name changes are like throwing me off, and every time I see Nick Chubb, I want to say Nick. That is Ryan is 7-5. Fourth is Mike at 6-6, who says his season is over when it definitely isn't. Fifth is Dave at 5-7. You know, just because of that name change, Paul, I think I'm rooting for Dave over Mike right now because Dave hasn't given up. Dave's made some
Yeah.
moves, which we'll get to. Uh, Dewey is in last in the West at 3-9. Highest score on the year is still Kyle. Close race though, 20 points. Let's see. The lowest score is still Paul by 70 points now. Most
Not
scored
bad.
on, yeah, most scored on is Dave. Poor Dave. Least scored on is Ryan, but now only by like 70 because Mike put up 120 on him this week. Let's take a look. Longest win streak right now is me. I've won 5 straight. Steve has won 3 straight. Not a lot of streaks going on besides Paul also losing 4 games in a row. Longest losing streak. Best division record still Steve and Chip. Like Chip being 5-1 in division like is the reason that he's gonna fucking make these playoffs. What a performance in division. Meanwhile, me 2-4. Dave 1-5, like that's like our downfall right now. Why we're not in the playoffs is our poor performance in division. Paul has not won a divisional game, and I don't. It
That's
might
sad.
stay that way when the season ends. It might actually stay that way.
Yeah.
I'm going to check history real quick. I want to see if last year either of them lost all their division games. Nope. You might be the first team in Footbaps history to lose all your divisional games, Paul. We'll see what
Making
ends up
history.
happening. Yeah. Home, Kyle is a home destroyer. 7 games at home. Kind of bullshit. He's gotten 7 games at home. No one else has 7 games at home. In fact, Nick only has 5 games at home. How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah. Shitty schedule.
Yeah, bad scheduling. Um, uh, Paul has a win at home. Nice. That's Mike. Okay, wait. So Mike's the one. Mike is 5-1 on the road and 1-5 at home, right?
The road dog. Hey, just got another road victory this week.
Oh, you're right. The road dog. So yeah, Mike Road Dog gets another away victory, 5-1 on the road. Chip is like the same way, 7 road games. He's 4-1 or 7 home games, 2-5 in those home games, 4-1 on the road. Steve Good all the way around. Most moves on the year is historic ass. Look, it's not about making the most moves; it's about making the most quality moves, and that's what Paul is proving here
I think I've
right now.
been most moves every year for like 5 years.
Yeah. You're usually going hard in the moves category. Let's check what the playoff bracket looks like right now. What the fuck? Okay, this is interesting. All right. Was I just looking at fake standings the whole time?
No, you're looking at ours.
No,
That was
now I
definitely
was
ours.
looking at last season. Mike was 5-1 on the road last season. It's Dave
Nah.
that's the road dog this year. Yeah,
What?
right? Am I in the wrong thing? Oh no! How am I
You're in
back to?
last year.
How am I in the last year's shit now? Why did the me hitting the next thing? So I was right. Yeah. Okay. Everything I
Yeah.
just said is true. Let's go to the playoff bracket. I don't know why it brought me back to last year's when I hit that. Steve, I can't imagine this changes. It could change if Steve were to lose. If Kyle and Steve tied in record, but they're so close in points. But as it stands right now, if the season ended right now, Steve would have a first round bye at 9-3, the number 1 overall seed. The number 2 seed is Gorman. He would be playing Chip in the first round. Chip is the number 7 seed. Chip's the last team in the playoffs as it stands right now. Second to last team in the playoffs is me at 6th overall. I would be playing Kyle at as the 3rd seed. That's brutal.
That's scary.
Yeah, could you fucking imagine? That'd be so shit, bro. I fucking make the playoffs, and after all this, if I had to get matched up with Kyle's the only person I don't want to get matched up against, honestly. That would suck. And then the last matchup would be number 5 seed Ryan against number 4 seed Austin, which reminds me, so me and Ryan have the same record. I just realized. How many more points does he have? He has, oh my god, he's only got 14 more points than me. Okay. So I guess Ryan's technically not as safe as I thought he was either. If we check the playoff predictions, 99% chance to make it for Gorman, 100% for Steve, obviously, 99% chance for Austin, 99 for Kyle, 95 for Ryan, 94 for me, 65% for Chip, and then we have 30% for Mike and 18 for Dave. But that's how the playoffs look right now. The losers bracket would be Mike versus Dave, Nick versus Dewey, and Paul getting that sweet first round bye for being the worst team in the league. So I think a good way to look at it right now is let's look at what needs to happen. And I think I'm going to need the points for this one for people to make the playoffs. So for me, Chip, and Ryan to 100% make the playoffs, we either need Dave and Mike. We need Dave to lose one more time, Mike to lose his last 2 games. We would all, yeah. So that would be one scenario in which me, Ryan, and Chip are all safe. Another scenario, but Chip could lose, Mike wins, Mike is over Chip. Then it's basically me, Ryan, Chip, Mike, and Dave are all competing, and what me, Ryan, and Chip want is Mike and Dave to lose games, and we want to win games ourselves. If me, Chip, and Ryan were to tie Mike in points, like if me, Chip, or Ryan were to tie Mike in record, all 3 of us I think have pretty comfortably more points than Mike on the season, so we would win the tiebreaker there. But Dave, if he wins twice, and then like me and Ryan and Chip all have the same record as Dave could win tiebreakers there. He's only 50 points behind me. He's only 20 behind Chip, 70 behind Ryan. Like, it's still close there. As someone who's out of the playoffs right now, I'll show you the playoff bracket right now. Give me what you think the final bracket's going to look like. Who's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all that?
I'm going to go Steve staying number 1. Mm-hmm. Kyle moves into number 2.
Okay, so Kyle can't move to number 2 because for some reason the ESPN has the number 1 team in the East has to be the number 2 seed. So yeah.
Okay. Well, Kyle's stuck at 3.
Yeah. So Kyle's guaranteed at 3 at the very least.
Yeah. Whoever's at 6, then good luck.
Yeah.
4. I think, I don't know how your team's playing. I think you'd move up to 4. I'm going to put you at 4.
Oh, that would be me. I'd have to, I guess I'd have to beat Austin, and then like Austin also would have to lose the next week.
You've got to tie with him. Scored points is really low. But yeah. So you versus Austin in the 4-5. Ryan moves to 6, and I'll go with Chip at 7. I don't think Dave's going to do it.
And you don't think Mike's going to do it? Mike and Chip have the same record. There is you're putting, if anything, this might fuck Chip over. This is how the season ruiner gets his laughs. The season ruiner doesn't ruin seasons. He saved Chip's season for the most part, but now he might actually ruin it. by giving a Paul guarantee that Chip makes the playoffs. No love to Mike. Mike is at 6-6, same as Chip. No love to Mike. There might be a reason for that because we'll get into the matchups.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, that's I would at this point I think I just need to move out of the fucking 6 seed because
whoever's in
the
6
seed is either going to be playing Kyle or Steve, and that's not fucking good. But making the playoffs is also my number one priority. Like, I just want to fucking make the playoffs. I just want to win games. Let's look at where ESPN is gonna predict us to go to. What the fuck? Oh, that's the trade from before. Yeah, okay. Whoa, things have changed a lot. Okay, they're predicting Steve to finish 1, Kyle to finish 2, Gorman to finish 3, Austin to finish 4th, Brandon to finish 5, Ryan to finish 6th, and Chip to finish 7th. Is that how you had it? Do you have it exactly as ESPN
except
predicted?
you and Austin were swapped.
Oh, gotcha. Mike, they're projecting to finish 8th. Dave 9th. Ooh, no love for Dave either.
Wow.
No love for Mike or Dave here. Nick to finish 10th. Dewey 11th. Paul last. Ooh, we got a new message down here in the message board. Oh, we got 2. Okay. So where we left off was when I was typing what Paul was saying as he said it, and it was Nick enjoys say ass. Mike, after that episode, apparently posts a little spicy message about Gorman right now. Mike posts a blog post on the website. It's titled Gorman, and the contents of this message say, "Does Gorman enjoy some good tasty?" ? He also followed it up with Dewey, spelled wrong, Dewey, and his post says, "Can you spell ass without?" I don't know if that's a challenge to Dewey if he can spell ass without. We got to respond with a little message here. Since Mike's going with the name situation here, what name should we target on ours?
Are we going someone in our league or just a funny name?
Someone in unless you have a really good funny name.
Lightbulb Larry. I don't know if you saw my.
Yep. Lightbulb Larry. All right.
And then say, yeah, you got it.
There once was a man named Lightbulb Larry.
Ryan is afraid of him.
Ryan is afraid of him. Let's go down here and say government name is Lightbulb Lawrence. All right. That should be good enough. And there we go.
Yep.
So Lightbulb Larry has now been posted. League members, go on, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe on Mike's blog, Mike's Footbap blog. We need a Mike Footbap blog. All right, let's take a look at and that's all we have here, right? I think that's all we have here. Yeah.
Yep.
Biggest movers are Nick's moved down 8 spots, and me and Steve both have moved up 7 spots. Gorman's moved up 4. Also, I really wish you could see it week to week. Pretty annoying. All right, recent activity. We had some crazy shit go down. So after we recorded last week, why can I not go further than?
It says start date and like the filters.
Oh, but either way, the 21st we recorded on Wednesday. So I think we got all this anyways.
Yeah.
Let's go to Thursday. Well, first of all, for everyone, So as you remember on our last week episode, Mike traded Amon-Ra and Keaton Mitchell, and Kyle traded him, Josh Dobbs, and Mike Evans. And we were like, questionable trade, blah, 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 whatever. Well, some crazy shit happened because Wednesday came around. Wednesday at 6:45, when that trade was supposed to go through, all we got was this phantom transaction. Nothing more, nothing left. Just Birch roster transaction with no contents inside. And the trade didn't go through, and it caused a ruckus. Kyle's pissed. Mike's pissed because they think people vetoed it. No one dropped a veto, and I knew no one vetoed because I went in and I saw that there was nothing saying trade vetoed. But this was a big deal. This is a big deal, and no one really knew what happened. What we think happened is Mike, before that trade went through on Wednesday, November 22nd, Mike went and made a waiver claim potentially involving Keaton Mitchell, and because Keaton Mitchell was involved in the trade like glitched out and just a transaction happened. No players even got traded, and it wouldn't have made any difference anyways. Mike would have won regardless, I'm pretty sure, because he started Tommy DeVito, who got 10 points. Josh Dobbs got like 4, and Mike Evans scored 22, and Amon-Ra only had 14. So didn't mess up anything there. But we're getting close to Christmas time. The ghost of Footbaps past potentially came in, playing a joke on the fellas. With some wild shit. Have you ever seen that happen in any of your leagues, Paul?
No, usually when there's a trade involved, it doesn't let you move a player involved in the trade. So I don't know why or how Mike hacked the system to let him drop Keaton Mitchell or whatever he was doing. It's like I don't see Keaton Mitchell dropped unless it's on the second page.
Now that we're
Like, did
talking,
he drop him?
no, he didn't drop him, but I don't know if he put in a claim and it fucked things up, and I don't really know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's just weird. Usually it just doesn't allow, but Mike's a hacker or something.
Yeah, so Mike actually did text. Now that you reminded me, he texted me last week on like Thursday and was like, or maybe Wednesday, and was like, "Hey man, someone hacked my ESPN account." Okay, so this is actually getting me to something else. I'm now forgetting that post that says Gorman. Mike texted me and said he didn't post this. First of all, it's exactly what Mike would post. It says Gorman, and it says, "Does Gorman enjoy some good tasty?" That's like everything he's ever posted in here. But Mike is claiming he never posted that. I asked him if he was piss drunk. He denied it. So maybe it was the ghost of Footbaps past, came in, hacked Mike's account, made a post about Gorman from Mike's account, and then went in and fucking made this phantom no trade happen and to cause some chaos. Maybe it's Chaos Agent Dewey. This is what Dewey fucking hacked into it. That's how he decided to create chaos. Regardless, something's happening in our league potentially. There's a hacker out there, and it might be Mike, or it might be one of Mike's compadres. Some crazy shit's going down. That's a first in the Footbaps. This fucking trade shit not going through and making no sense. I was starting to get pissed because I thought these idiots like had the pending in their inbox and just didn't see what date it was. We're like, no. So I'm at least glad there actually was some shit that actually happened. But man, yeah, the ghost of Footbaps passed. Wild. After we recorded, though, that trade didn't go through. Now that trade ended up happening again because it looks like Mike traded Amon-Ra for Evans and Dobbs, and this time he didn't give away Mitchell, I guess. And then after that trade went through, it looks like Mike, that's when he changed his name to Bye and his team name to Season is Over. Regardless, after we recorded Footbaps Thursday, Kyle adds Jeff Wilson. Paul adds Zay Jones. No, that's not. Season is over. Paul, I just realized that was your name before, wasn't it?
No, Season Ruiner.
No. In a different, like, last year or the year before, there was a year where you weren't going to make the playoffs and you made your name The Season is Over. And that's
Probably,
why now
yeah.
I'm just going to get fucked up because I'm going to think Season is Over is you. But Mike picks up Zay Jones. Nick picks up the Titans defense. This is all before last week's games, by the way. This isn't this week.
Yeah. Has Kyle had Zay Jones at all? Was that last year he had him and dropped him like 3 different times?
Yes. Let's see if he had him at all this year. No. He did not.
Wow.
Last year, Kyle was picking up Zay Jones. He'd have a bad week. He'd drop him. He'd have a good week. He'd pick Zay Jones up. He'd have a bad week. Drop him like probably 10 times during the season. It was like Zay Jones was his favorite player in the world and least favorite. But yeah, no, he hasn't had Zay Jones this year. Last year, Zay Jones was his guy. Zay Jones is the reason why Kyle beat me in the playoffs. Zay Jones scored 34 points against me in that playoff matchup, the best game of his entire career. Probably to this day. I mean, I know it was his best game last year. He hasn't done shit this year, so yeah, fuck me. Fuck you, Zay Jones. Nick last week added the Titans defense, played it. He lost, so it ended up not making a difference. Steve added Jonnu Smith for whatever reason. Now the trade went through. They redid the trade. Mike trades Amon-Ra. Kyle trades Mike Evans, Josh Dobbs. Ooh, and now we have the mid off again. Paul is good for one mid transaction a year. Last year was Debo for Damian Pierce.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Oh yeah,
it's Dave as well.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yes. So last year, Paul traded Damian Pierce to Dave for Debo Samuel. It was a mid-off. Neither of them did shit. Like, they were just on their benches. Now you're actually going to use Damian Pierce, but again, this trade involves Damian Pierce. This time, Dave gives Paul Damian Pierce, and Paul, I know it's tough for you trading Josh Downs to Dave. Josh Downs, a UNC legend. Yep.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind with this trade? What's the reasoning? How are you feeling?
Well, it was something that had to be done. I literally had no other choice, unless I wanted to ride with Samaje Perine, which isn't a horrible option. But Damian Pierce playing the Broncos, Singletary kind of has taken over, but I still think he'll get 7, 8 points. That's what I'm hoping for. So it had to be done, and I wanted Pierce back. It just comes full circle now.
Yeah, you needed him back on your team. I added Dearness Johnson because I thought Travis Etienne was injured, and he wasn't. He got injured in the game, but I think he's like totally fine. So that was a stupid pickup, anyways.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten P Ryan anyway. I had $0. So.
Kyle picks up P Ryan. Paul gets Goddard back. Nice. You'll have him in like a couple weeks, maybe in the losers bracket. Dave adds the Falcons defense.
You didn't realize who I dropped, actually. I don't know if you mentioned.
Oh my God, here we go again. Quinn Johnston this year is Kyle's Zay Jones last year. Paul dropped. You are the only person that has done anything with him. No one else has done anything. These are all the moves. You picked. Okay, Paul drafted Quentin Johnston in the 9th round. That might be the worst pick this year. The 9th round that's a single-digit round.
His average draft position was like right around there, so I wasn't alone. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so September 6th, drafted by Paul. October 24th, dropped by Paul. November 5th, picked up by Paul. November 15th, dropped by Paul. November 22nd, added by Paul. November 29th, dropped by Paul. That is every week for 4 weeks straight. Actually, even going back to the 24th, 5 weeks of dropping and picking up Quentin Johnston. This is Zay Jones and Kyle part 2, but it's Paul and Quentin Johnston. I hope something like this happens every year. Everyone just keeps adding and dropping people. To be fair, I'm starting to realize that's kind of me with Dante Foreman. Wait, let me check. Is this all? Oh my God. Yeah, so Kyle picked Dante Foreman and then dropped him the next week when he was named the starter, and I was like, what the fuck? So I picked up Dante Foreman. I dropped him once he got hurt, and then I picked him back up because Khalil Herbert was supposed to come back and then didn't, and then I dropped him again because Dante Foreman got hurt. So Dante Foreman, I have done 1, 2, 3, 4 moves with him. So I guess me and Dante Foreman have a thing going on here too. But the Quentin Johnston one's way fucking funnier. Dave picks the Falcons defense. They play the Jets. Good pick. Why the fuck did you pick Jonathan Mingo up?
That's not me. Who is it?
Oh, it's the season is over and it's Mike. Mike picked Jonathan Mingo. I hate that he made his name the same exact name as yours was. I'm seriously think it was last year, Paul, that you made it season was over for like a week.
Nah, last year I was good. I remember because I ended the year as down horrendously because I like barely made the playoffs. It was bad.
Good time. But yeah, did you see the clip of Jonathan Mingo trying to catch a football?
No.
All right, let me. Yes, I'll find this. It's hilarious. Basically, like the clip looks like he was doing everything in his power to not catch the football in bounds. It was actually pretty wild. Jonathan Mingo out of bounds. Like, what could I look up to see this? Yeah.
Why is he? Because in my other league, someone else picked him up. Like, why is he such a hot item?
I have no idea. Do you see that? What he just did? He's got all that space. Oh shit. Oh my god.
Because I'm in Discord.
Oh fuck me.
Add it to add the tab to your ESPN tab.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Here. Actually, let me see if I can find. This one's kind of low quality, anyways. Jonathan Mingo out of bounds. There's got to be some kind of like. Maybe is this the same one? All right. Well, look at this shit.
What the fuck?
He was like in bounds and then he like jumped and moved his feet out of bounds. It was like he was trying to go out of bounds. It was the worst attempt at a catch I've ever seen. So that's who Mike just added on his team. And he dropped Zay Jones. All right. So he picked up Zay Jones on the 23rd and dropped him 6 days later. All right. Um, Gorman picks up Chris Boswell. I'm assuming he must have a kicker on by. Kyle picks up Roshan Johnson. Yeah, that was, of course, I had Roshan all year. I dropped him, and then he scores 10 points. I don't know if he's going to be anything but annoying. Paul picks up the Saints defense. Paul picks up Jason Sanders. You dropped Cameron Dicker. Remember all he did for you? Didn't you beat
He
Ryan?
hasn't done shit.
Didn't you beat Ryan with
By
an 8.5
points.
point?
I
Yeah,
beat someone. I don't know.
it was. I think it was Ryan. You got, because remember he was pissed that he needed Keenan Allen and someone else to combine for like 12 points, and you got 8.5 points from Dicker and like ended up winning. I think it was Ryan.
I don't know. I don't think I beat Ryan.
Oh fucking! All right, let me take a look. All right, that was week 8. Wait a second. Who the fuck did you win off of Cameron Dicker?
I beat Kyle, I think.
Wait,
and
you don't even
then,
have
yep.
Cameron Dicker in week 8. I gotta see. This is annoying now. What tab was I on just a second ago? Oh, this was
I have no
recent
idea.
activity. I just want to not lose my spot here. Cameron Dicker. There was a week where you got points from Cameron Dicker. I could have sworn. Actually, I can just look at your schedule. I know you won, right? Did someone else have
One of
Cameron
my
Dicker
two.
against? I think someone might have had Cameron Dicker against Ryan. Wait, let me check this out. Who did he play this week? It was you. Season is over as Mike. Jesus Christ. I keep thinking it's you, Paul. You beat Ryan, and it was because Cameron Dicker got 8.5 points on Monday night. And he like,
I didn't know I beat Ryan. That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. Keenan Allen got him 10.9. He had someone else in this game too, I think. I think regardless, it came down to it. And, you know, if Cameron Dicker even had like 4 points, which is a solid kicker day, he would have won. But yeah, you beat him off of Cameron Dicker. I remember that. I hate that Mike's name is the season is over. I'm going to have to fucking ask him to change that. Looks like the trade went through. Mike drops Tommy DeVito, his boy. That's so sad. Mike drops Tommy DeVito, and the other trade goes through. And now let's get to the matchups this week, Paul. How about it?
Yep. Let's do
All right.
it.
First matchup, brotherly matchup again. Last time we played, Austin beat me 94-86. For some context behind that, that was the week that, like I said, Amari hurt his quad or like his hamstring or something, and the Browns played on Monday night. So I put Jahan Dotson in because Amari Cooper it was Sunday morning and they were like, Amari's not playing. So I put Jahan Dotson in. Jahan Dotson got me like 2 points. And then the next day, Amari Cooper played on Monday night and he got like 14 points. And I was like, wow, if Amari Cooper, if a report just didn't come out that Amari Cooper was like doubtful, I would have fucking played Amari and beaten Austin last time. So that's obnoxious. But as it stands right now, I'm projected to beat Austin. So there's a ton of bye weeks this week. Me and Austin have none of them. Basically, none of us have bye weeks. We have our whole teams for the most part. Besides Tank Dell, I don't know if you saw, he like didn't practice today and shit.
No. Weird.
Yeah, it's so if I don't have Tank Dell, I'm probably fucked. But in terms of bye weeks, we don't have any buys. I'm projected to win 107 to 93.6. I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout at all. I think it's going to be close at the very least. I think Austin's had so many down games. He's just due for a game that, you know, he does good. And Cooper Cup's been getting single digit points for like 6 weeks straight. So I'm going to say Cooper Cup's going to score like 20. ETN's probably going to pop off for like 24. Against Arizona, Jalen Warren's probably going to have like 18. I'm not feeling good about it, but Paul, what do you think? Especially with Tank Dell, apparently, yeah.
I looked at the thing and it says they're optimistic he'll be ready. So, but yeah, every position I say, even though there's check marks, but I'd rather have your team in every position. So
Yeah,
I'd say it's okay.
It's the same thing as look, Paul. I've been pretty good about this for like the last 4 weeks, where I say like I'm projected to kill these teams, and then it ends up being like 109 to like 98 or like 100 or something. And I just think Austin's had too many down weeks in a row. Like many more times am I like going crazy at like 68, 95, 79, 90? I just think he's due to just have a good week. I don't know. That's why I'm afraid.
I don't know.
We'll
Or
see.
fourth lowest scorer. What is he?
Yeah, like third or
I just
fourth
don't
lowest
believe it.
score. Yeah. But he beat me last time, so
His
well,
highest scoring game of the season's 107. Damn,
yeah.
that's crazy.
And he's like locked into the playoffs. He's 8-4, dude. Um, talk about being God's favorite there. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think it'll be easy. So Pollard plays Seattle Thursday night. I think if Pollard gets me like 7 points against Seattle, then it's definitely time to panic. Like I need Tony Pollard to give me like 15 points minimum for me to be like, all right, like we're in a good spot. If he sucks, it's fucking over. I still can't believe I scored 151 on you, Paul. It's wild. Brotherly matchup, me versus Austin. Austin 74, I'm 7-5. I'm fighting for the playoffs. Austin's basically in. Um, Nick versus Gorman. This is going to be a good matchup. Gorman hasn't put a tight end in yet. He doesn't have a tight end yet. He'll pick one up. But when he does get a tight end, I'd imagine Gorman's going to be favored by 1 point. Gorman's he's 8-4, but I just think his team hasn't been scoring as much lately, so he must just be winning low scoring games. I mean, I know he won 89-68 or whatever last week. And then he's so the last 3 weeks Gorman scored 66, 78, and 89. Now he takes on Nick. Nick's team is kind of humming a little. This might be a surprise, a sneaky upset of the week pick. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, like I mentioned, Nick's team is on the come up now that it's the closing games of the season. So I'm gonna go with Nick here.
Yeah, I think I feel good about Nick winning this one. I just think he's going to take one off Gorm. I think his team, he's got some good matchups and stuff. I just feel good about Nick. Huge matchup here. Is your lineup set? This is so bad. I'd
Not
ask.
really.
Do you not have? Yeah, you got Pierce.
Oh shit! It just went through.
yeah. You saw that projected to score 86 and a half, and you're like, nah, I can't. That can't be it, right? There's no fucking way. Last time you guys played, Chip beat you by 4. Wow. Right now, Chip is projected to win 97.5 to 86.5. Must win for Chip, but Paul's reputation is on the line. But also, Paul's team is fucking ass, and he's
My
got
whole
bye
team
weeks.
is hurt or on bye weeks apparently. So
Yeah, Paul
well,
has
not whole team,
Jonathan.
but a lot.
Yeah, Paul has Jonathan Taylor injured, Jordan Addison on bye, Justin Fields on bye. So he's using Damian Pierce to replace Jonathan Taylor, Russell Wilson to replace Justin Fields, and Marquise Brown to replace Jordan Addison. Marquise Brown, what did he do last week? Oh, he had
You did pretty
11.8.
well, finally. Yeah,
I
back on track.
I think it's just because I beat you by so much, but I remember thinking,
I didn't start him last week, I don't think.
I know, and I remember being happy about it because I knew that he had like been sucking. Who did you play instead? Yeah, you played Addison. I remember being like, I hope he keeps Addison just because he has Josh Dobbs, and I was like, it's gonna come like Marquise Brown isn't just gonna like suck forever. And I think they had 12 targets. I think that Marquise Brown might be, on the come up, but I think it doesn't matter because you're gonna fucking lose. But what do you think, Paul?
Uh, well, Chip's scoring hasn't been high, and my scoring obviously hasn't been high, so I think we're in for a good one here.
Yeah, this could be a good one. It's just a fully healthy team. Chip doesn't have a defense in, Paul. You're going to be projected to lose
Oh man,
by a lot. Yeah, you're
never
going to be
mind.
projected to lose like 104 to 86. Yeah, so Paul's not winning this one, guys. Chip has no bye weeks. Paul has bye weeks and injuries, and I think realistically, I think if you had Justin Fields and you had Jonathan Taylor this week, I would be like, yeah, like you Chip. This is going to be a close game.
Chance.
Yeah, but right now Chip's my guaranteed win of the week. We'll see what happens with the other matchups. I haven't looked at all the other matchups. Steve versus Mike, kind of a little rivalry, both West Coast teams. Steve projected to win 104 to 83.5 over Mike right now. Last time they played, Steve won 130 to 102. So 1-0 on the season for Steve against Mike. I think it's a home game for Steve. I'm not sure how you can tell. I'm just assuming the right team
side,
is
I
the home
guess.
team.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mike is the road dog, by the way.
Yeah, Mike is the road dog. Mike 5-1 on the road, so anything can happen here. We just saw Mostert go off. Noah Brown, if Tank Dell is out, Noah Brown could easily have a good game, a really good game. He's got Mingo at the
Check out
flex.
Mike's bench.
Is it all buys?
Yeah, except one.
DJ Moore on bye, Keaton Mitchell, Madison, Dobbs, Latavius Murray. That was the other funny thing about that trade that Mike made for Dobbs, is it's like you're trading for a dude who's on bye next week anyways. Like, what the fuck? I think this is going to be closer than the score is showing. What do you think? Well, so first of all, the reasoning for it is Steve has TJ Hawkinson on bye, and Chris Olave got a concussion. I don't think he's going to play. Now, who knows? Rashi Rice might be able to come in and do something, but this isn't full strength Steve by any means.
Yeah, Steve's got an off week, but he's playing Mike, so it won't be too much of a deal. Like, Steve's just not looking great right now.
I'm looking, and CMC plays the best run defense. Devontae Smith plays the San Fran defense. Oh my God, this actually is looking brutal. I think Mike can actually pull this one off, keep his season alive. Like, if Mike didn't have buys, he might be my upset of the week. I'm not going to pick him as upset of the week because he's got so many buys, but Mike can easily pull this off. Mike versus Steve, that's going to be a good game and a huge game because Steve wants to keep that buy and Mike needs to get in the playoffs. Let's go to the next game. Dewey versus Ryan, another big game. Most of these games are big games. Like, they include teams. So me and Austin, big game. We're both trying to make the playoffs. Austin's trying to get the 2 seed. Gorman versus Nick. Gorman trying to get the 2 seed, get in the playoffs. Chip versus Paul. Chip's trying to get into the playoffs. Mike versus Steve. Steve's trying to keep that bye week, and Mike's trying to get into the playoffs. And now the next game, it's the same thing. Every game this week is meaningful. Ryan plays Dewey. Dewey looks like he must have a lot of bye weeks and shit because he's projected 84 and Ryan's projected 106.5. So Ryan, I think, should be comfortably in here. There's a lot of games that I'm like, wow, this could be my lock of the week. Ryan and Chip look like it. What do you think about this matchup? I think Ryan's going to beat Dewey.
Yeah, with Dewey has 2 tight ends playing, so that's all you got to say there. Zach Moss, fucking projected 15 now.
Oh yeah,
so yeah, Ryan's got it locked in.
Ryan getting Zach Moss was huge. Otherwise, he'd have Drake London against the Jets in, and it would be a little bit scary. But no, I think Ryan's got this one in the bag. He might be my actual guaranteed. Like, I'll have to think about this later on. Poor Dewbag, man. I mean, he made a comeback. Another big matchup here. Dave needs to win out, and Kyle wants to get a bye. If he wins and Steve loses, he could get a bye. Obviously there's another week too, but as of right now, Kyle's projected to win 109.8 to 103.7. This is going to be a good game. This is going to be a close game. A good, close game. Kyle, I think Kyle's got buys. Ooh, okay. Dave can fucking win this. Kyle has Stephon Diggs, James Cook, Cole Kmet, and Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson all on buys. He's got Aaron Jones in his lineup right now, but I don't think that Aaron Jones is playing this week. Kyle might not. Oh, that's why he's got Samaje Perine. I think Dave's winning this one. I think Dave's going to keep his playoffs hopes alive. I think Steve's got a bye locked up then pretty much, because if he wins this week, Kyle loses this. Kyle would be 2 games behind. He can't get a bye. So, man, that's fucking crazy, dude. Dave, I think, is going to keep himself alive. What do you think?
Yeah, it's looking like that. I looked ahead. I got too excited. Next week, we're in for a real one. So if Dave, I'm hoping he wins this one just to make it interesting, because he played Mike next week, and they're both 6 and 7.
If they're both at 6 and 7 and winner makes the playoffs, can you imagine? That'd be wild. That'd be awesome. I think Dave's going to win this one. I'm not going to guarantee lock it, but that's holy shit.
It's a 50-50, I guess, but I'm rooting for Dave. Kyle's team's great. He'll be 3 seed no matter what, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so me and Austin 50-50, Gorman and Mike 50-50, Dave and Kyle 50-50, and then I think I'm going to say my guaranteed locks for this week are going to be, I think Chip's a guaranteed lock. Remember, he doesn't have a defense in, so he'll be projected to win by 20. Chip guaranteed lock over Paul. Steve guaranteed lock over Mike. And Ryan guaranteed lock over Dewbag. this week is what I'm thinking. Or wait, no, Steve. I'm not guaranteed locking Steve because I think Steve has the bad matchups and guys that are projected in that I don't think are going to play. So I think there's 2 guaranteed locked, and it's going to be Ryan winning and it's going to be Chip winning, and that's massive, dude.
I'm guaranteed locking Ryan for the record. So,
what about Chip?
No. So I want to give myself a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's going to be a close one.
Upset of the week, I'm picking Dave over Kyle.
Upset of the week, I'm going Mike over Steve.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one too. Like I think those are. I don't think I consider Austin beating me an upset, and I don't consider me beating Austin an upset. I think it's too close. So yeah, I would say Mike over Steve would be a good upset, and Dave over Kyle, I think are good upset picks. But is there anything else that we missed, Paul?
Don't believe so. It's been a great episode.
Till next week, and we got our Tar Heels and our Volunteers playing tonight, right, Paul?
Yeah.
And you said no matter the outcome, you're gonna be happy, right?
Right.
This is like when you said
every basket.
This is like when you said if the Cavs played the Lakers in the finals, you'd be happy no matter who
it's
won.
It's a win-win. Yep.
That's so fucking gross.
My king could get a ring.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us today. Playoffs, everything's ramping up. Big games coming up. Big eppies coming up. And yeah, we're gonna poll. So Paul, I had this idea. I haven't told you this yet, but I think we're gonna send a poll out to everyone in the league to pick who they think is going to win it all heading into the playoffs, like whenever that happens, and we can go over the results with on the pod with everyone, and then and I'll even send it to like Zach and like my sister and shit, Molly. Send it to Lauren. Send it to whoever. Have them pick who they think is going to win it all. We might as well include every name. See if someone gives you a pity pick.
Right. We might need to put records near it just so it doesn't look too funny.
Yeah, and maybe clarify is actually in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say we got some exciting episodes upcoming. We're gonna have the draft recap eventually. We'll have next week's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna have again. We had the awards show last year where we had everyone vote for awards. We've been brainstorming ideas for what awards could be given. I think on the spot right now, I'm gonna say maybe we have an award for best viewer award. Huh?
Oh yeah, most loyal viewer.
Yes, most loyal viewer, and we'll see who wins that one. But I think that's all for this week, Paul. What do you say?
Yep. Till next week.
All right, till next week, Footbap Nation. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.